Years ago, we lived in Kent, Washington, and as part of my business, I occasionally had to go to the county courthouse. I never really liked going there because invariably there would be a lot of people waiting for service. When we arrived, we were given a number and we waited until our number was called. On this particular day, I made the mistake of going there at 11:30 and the room was just as crowded as ever. To add insult to injury, there was only one window open as all of the other workers had gone out on an extended lunch. In the waiting room, there were no chairs, but instead there were about a dozen ottomans that one or two people could sit on. This day, all of the ottomans were occupied, and there were another dozen people standing around. I had been there for 45 minutes, and the individual working the one open window was still helping the first person that was there when I arrived. Now, I don't pretend to be the most patient of individuals, and if you ask my wife, she will tell you that patience is a virtue that I wasn't blessed with. So here I was, 45 minutes into my wait, with 20 numbers ahead of me, and not one additional number had been called. I was not a happy camper. To be honest with you, there was a whole room full of unhappy campers. You could cut the tension in that room with a knife. Everyone there was mumbling, moaning, and groaning about the lack of service. And then something magical happened. A man and his wife were sitting on one of the ottomans when the man had to get up and stretch his legs. As soon as he got up, a little boy who had been standing around with his mom and dad ran over, jumped over the ottoman, and plopped down next to this man's wife. His mom said, "Jimmy, come back over here." Jimmy just looked at his mom and shook his head. Jimmy's mom again said, "Jimmy, that wasn't very nice to take his seat. Come back over here." Jimmy again looked at his mom and, in an exaggerated movement, shook his head back and forth. Trying to smooth things over, the woman that was sitting next to him asked him, "How old are you?" Jimmy showed her 2 fingers and said 2. Jimmy's mom said, "How old are you?" Jimmy gave it some serious thought and then held up 3 fingers and said 3. With that, Jimmy went crazy. I'm sure Jimmy had been standing there way too long, because the pent-up energy in that little boy came exploding out. He started jumping over ottomans and people as he got in everyone's face, endlessly shouting, "3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3," as he showed everyone his 3 fingers. And this went on and on and on. In any other situation, this probably would have been a major annoyance. But in this situation, it was not. Watching this little boy explode in his 3-year-old enthusiasm completely changed the attitude of everyone in that room. Moments earlier, the mood had been one of annoyance, resentment at the lack of service, and regret that we had chosen this time of day to come get service. Magically, the whole mood in that room was transformed. People started smiling, laughing, and even talking to each other. We were no longer held captive in a place we didn't want to be. We had been set free from our own mental prisons. All because one little boy decided to share his enthusiasm for life with a room full of strangers. What a different world we would live in if all of us could approach each day with the enthusiasm and zest for life that little Jimmy displayed that day. Thank you, Jimmy, for making a difference in our world.